So, Chris, we'll stay with you here as we transition to the transfer portal because I got to think Florida State fans are going through withdrawal because the transfer portal has been a good thing for this program, more so than I would argue any program in the country in terms of top end talent. But got off to a late start with 1 week. And also, people have to realize there is not the kind of talent in the transfer portal here in the spring that there was in December. There's a few gems out there, and most of them have been snatched up. But can we expect any meaningful dividends for Florida State in the transfer portal, Chris?
I'm going to say yes, just based off of the defensive tackle that we've offered. We've also offered one wide receiver, and we've also offered, I don't know if we've offered him, but we've had the conversation with a particular DB from Alabama. We don't necessarily need another DB, but these are kind of the ones that you don't tell no to. There's also an offensive tackle that is extremely interested in coming to Florida State. I don't know who's released that yet. But I know that for a fact that we talked to him today as far as Florida State. When I say we, I think there's 3 that they'll take, and I think it's going to be on a difference because we're still 3 over on our scholarship right now. So if we add 3 more, we'll be 6 over. So there's going to be some NIL things that take place to replace scholarships from what I've been told. I don't know any of that to be factual yet. That's just what I've been told from the outside. But I do believe that there's 3 of them that if they want to come to Florida State, then you don't tell them no, and then you figure it out. I'm also starting to wonder, even though we listened to the basic, the punishment that the NCAA gave us as far as scholarships and not being able to talk to kids in the portal for the first week. I think even though we've listened to those, I think due to the way that the lawsuit's going against the NCAA, continue to listen to those punishments. It seems like we're starting to say the hell with that almost. I don't want to put any, thoughts out there or words in the Florida State's mouth, but it's seriously because of the way that lawsuit's going, starting to look like Florida State's not going to abide by any of those punishments. It's going to, I don't know if it goes away, but I just think Florida State's going to start operating as if they don't care. So we'll see.
Yeah, the teeth of the NCAA has pretty much been, kicked out. So, yeah, Florida State may go down in history as the last school to get its hand slapped by the NCAA, and that might be it because, man, they are losing in a bad way, and all power and authorities leaving them at this point. James, you have any thought about anyone in the portal or any direction in which this program needs to go?
I mean, it's like Chris said. I mean, it really just depends upon how strong and how much money we have left over in the NIL. You did lose a couple key pieces, but the beautiful thing about Tallahassee is that it is in Miami. It is in Jacksonville. It's relatively cheap. A scholarship is about, if you're on full scholarship outside of your academics and everything else, you're getting about $36,000, with like $3,000 a month in your living allowance. So what you do is you just pay for that, and then just put those guys, have them pay for their own school. It's not that expensive for some of our lower tier players if we needed to remove them from scholarship, or you could relatively give somebody $100,000 and say, hey, you got to just pay your own way though. But you're still a member, you're still a part of the team. But I think that D tackle we're very interested in. Michigan just offered him, but hopefully we get him, and that gives us. He's got 2 years to play. We do need a little bit of depth there, but outside of that, people want more wide receivers. I get it, but there isn't a Keon Coleman in that transfer portal. Obviously you can have an embarrassment of riches at DB. If you find another linebacker, that's great. We see the young man Cam, who had committed to North Carolina State, decommitted. I know we flirted with him, but I think, and I've always said this, I don't think Florida State's in the market to just sign anybody. It has to be a really good fit, and it has to make sense, because I really believe our roster is really good, and they have faith in the roster. I do believe. And then I thought about it based upon spring. Spring, we had 5 D tackles that were able to go. No, actually, technically 4 because Farmer wasn't able to go. But you bring in D.D. Holmes and you bring Denaz White. That are 2 freshmen that will be coming in, and you really need 8 so that you can have 4 getting quality 1s and 2s reps. The other ones are giving you a good look on the scout team, and guys are kind of playing around best to that. So, that's really just what it comes down to. Guys want to play in the portal. Guys want to be loved. There are some people who do have more spots than we do. So we'll see where it goes. But I think Florida State's roster right now is pretty primed to make another run.
And real
Anything
quick
on that, George?
Yeah, I
George,
agree with both of those
George.
guys. When it comes to the scholarship reductions, with Moody announcing another lawsuit, this time on behalf of Florida and Florida State, with respect to these NIL violations in the 2 situations, I have to think that maybe Florida State kind of kicks the can down the road on those 5 scholarships because they have 2 years to fulfill that. So hopefully they never have to fulfill that. Hopefully they don't have to worry about it. But as Chris and James have said, the Battle's End is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, and most efficient kind of NIL collectives out there. It's a beautiful thing. And also another piece of legislation or litigation that's in effect is a suit against the NCAA to just have these schools pay them like $20 million a year at these D1s. So yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. I think Florida State's just going to be fine. Going to land on top of their feet in a better situation than before. When it comes to possibly adding some players, I agree with Chris. I really think we bring in a defensive tackle at the end of the day. Like James was saying, if you get a wide receiver, to me, you don't just bring in, and that's one thing Norvell does not do. He does not bring in bodies. He will not bring in somebody if he doesn't think they can truly become a part of the program and compete. But as far as wide receiver, I think you don't grab somebody unless they can complete for some serious snaps this year. This year, that's the important thing. But I just want to highlight, this is not some new portal like class. This is a new period of the portal. But while we're on to recruiting 2025 high school kids, this is the same portal class. This is the same group. We just got all of ours on early signing day. That's the difference. When you put up the top 10 portal cats around the country, you look at the classes, Florida State's still number 4 on 3, I believe, number 5 on 247. Miami, under all their hope, they're still 19 on 3, number 10 on 247. So I get everybody wants the excitement. And I thought we were going to lose 10 cats because of the scholarship reductions and wanting to bring guys in possibly off of scholarship and things like that. But spring has come and gone. We're learning more about the possible lawsuits against the NCAA and maybe kicking that can down the road. And it looks like, I don't know, maybe we lose a couple of people, more people, maybe we don't. But yeah, I don't see a ton of people get that defensive tackle in there for sure. And if a wide receiver or a linebacker pops up there that you think can come compete for a starting job, get them in here. As far as offensive tackle, that's one of those positions where if it's available, you can get a guy that can come in at any point in time to be part of your 2 deep at offensive tackle. You bring that sucker in. So, yeah, I hope we get that news that Chris alluded to there sooner than later for sure.